Is a man truly complete without a woman by his side after reaching the age of 60? Why do so many men choose solitude over companionship when the golden years beckon? Are we ready to acknowledge the uncomfortable truths about love, vulnerability, and the human experience as we age? These questions, seemingly simple yet profoundly complex, tap into the very essence of our existence. They linger in the minds of countless men around the globe, especially those standing at the crossroads of a life, contemplating the shifting landscape of their emotional and social needs. Dear viewer, please be kind enough to subscribe to my channel, Listen My Advice. Leave a comment of 7 words about what inspired you, and hit the like button after 30 seconds. This will help my channel to develop better and share valuable advice with you. As men cross this threshold, they often find themselves in a unique phase of life. The children have grown and flown the nest. Careers that once defined their identity wind down, and the hustle and bustle that filled their homes gives way to a serene silence. In this quiet, a man is afforded the rare luxury of introspection, a space to finally hear his own thoughts, and perhaps for the first time, to ask himself the fundamental question, what do I truly want now? Many men cling to outdated notions that in later years they must be accompanied by a partner, basking in the warmth of domestic life, eagerly waiting for someone to hand them that comforting glass of water. Yet, a revolution is quietly taking place. Each passing year, an increasing number of men make the surprising and at first glance paradoxical decision to embrace solitude. Some choose to end their marriages, others shy away from new romances, while some simply stop seeking companionship altogether. This trend is not necessarily born from pain or disappointment. Rather, it often emerges from a deep internal maturity that leads to a conscious choice. Why, after decades of sharing life with a partner, would a man suddenly opt for a solitary path? Is it a flight from love or a quest for authenticity? Together, let us explore 8 compelling reasons why men over 60 are increasingly drawn to solitude, pondering whether this choice signifies true freedom or merely a different shade of loneliness. Upon reaching this age, many men begin to experience something new and extraordinary, a profound sense of inner freedom that had long been relegated to the back burner. Their lives, filled with obligations, work, family, child-rearing, and the management of everyday challenges, now seem like a distant memory. With the children grown and careers winding down, the once bustling home transforms into a sanctuary of tranquility. In this newfound silence, a man can finally reconnect with himself, realizing he is no longer beholden to anyone. There's no need for explanations, no rush to fulfill someone else's expectations, and no more compromises to maintain harmony. Instead, he finds the liberty to live life on his own terms, to wake when he pleases, to engage in activities that genuinely spark joy, and to structure his days as he sees fit. This sense of liberation often brings with it an exhilarating feeling of lightness, and for some, an almost euphoric return to a youthful spirit. Take Yuri, who at 61, following a divorce, recognized that he had spent the majority of his life living for others, neglecting his own desires. Now he journeys through life, exploring new places, penning his memoirs, and beginning each day with a refreshing jog through the woods. No one disturbs him with unnecessary inquiries or demands. He thrives in this fresh realization of being the master of his own life. Psychotherapists affirm that the internal relief experienced by a man who suddenly finds himself alone can be unattainable within a continuous partnership. Viktor Frankl's logotherapy posits that the meaning of life is not something given from the outside, but rather emerges from the depths of one's own freedom. Similarly, Erich Fromm emphasized that a mature individual is one who can choose not from a place of fear, but from a deep understanding of their true desires. Thus, the quest for freedom in later years is not an act of rebellion or whimsy. It signifies a conscious return to one's true self, a chance to live authentically even in the twilight of life. The second reason many men prefer solitude is the innate habit of living alone. What initially feels like a temporary phase of loneliness gradually morphs into a comfortable lifestyle. A man who has experienced divorce or the loss of a partner may first grapple with feelings of emptiness, yet as time passes, he starts to occupy this newfound space. Over the years, solitude transforms from a source of pain into a sanctuary of comfort. A daily routine takes shape, free from external pressures and devoid of the need to consider another's desires. The stability of solitary life becomes almost sacred. Any attempt to disrupt this balance feels intrusive, a threat to the hard-earned peace. A man who has grown accustomed to living alone becomes hesitant to adapt to someone else's habits, whims, or emotional needs. This is exactly what happened with Valeri, age 66. After his marriage dissolved, he did not immediately embrace solitude, but after a few years, he came to relish it. His mornings begin with a steaming cup of coffee savored in silence. His plans are uninterrupted, and there are no demands for explanations. Friends who remain married occasionally express envy at his independence, to which he merely smiles and replies, "I've grown used to it." Psychologists note that this habit is not merely a matter of convenience, it represents a deep psychological rooting. Carl Jung referred to this process as individuation, a return to one's authentic self. In later life, individuals increasingly shed societal roles and gravitate toward authenticity. Solitude allows for the peeling away of masks imposed by society, reflecting a clearer image of the true self. A man learns to coexist with himself, finding comfort in his own company. If life is already filled with such internal harmony, why risk reintroducing elements that could disrupt it? The third reason is a dwindling need for physical intimacy. As men age, the urgency and intensity of physical closeness often fade, making way for deeper emotional experiences. Upon reaching 60, many men seek not passionate encounters, but tranquility, mutual understanding, and emotional serenity. Their needs evolve, and physical attraction no longer occupies a central position in their lives. Furthermore, memories of past relationships, especially the painful ones, can create internal barriers that hinder the willingness to engage in new emotional connections. Roman, at 67, speaks candidly about this transformation. "I've endured my share of painful breakups, and now I find peace in solitude. I'm no longer willing to expose my soul to someone who might hurt it again." For him, comfort resides in stability, devoid of emotional upheaval. He finds solace in reading, gardening, and capturing the beauty of nature through photography. From a psychological standpoint, this evolution is entirely natural. Freud termed this process sublimation, wherein energy once directed toward physical desires is transmuted into creative or intellectual pursuits. Instead of chasing passion, a man now immerses himself in art. Instead of vying for attention, he contemplates life's deeper meanings. Contemporary research in geriatrics confirms that a decrease in libido does not signify the end of vitality. Rather, it heralds the onset of a different, more nuanced phase. In their later years, men's energies often become more refined and introspective, directing their focus inward. Without the constant pressure of physical instincts, they gain freedom to explore their inner worlds, interests, and aspirations. Intimacy begins to be perceived not merely as a physical act, but as a soulful dialogue. Many come to see emotional closeness as a greater responsibility than mere pleasure, and thus consciously shy away from embarking on new relationships. This is not an escape, but a transition to a different plane of existence where self-harmony takes precedence over the relentless search for affirmation of one's desirability. The fourth reason is the desire to live the remainder of one's life for oneself. Upon reaching 60, men often begin to truly grasp the fleeting nature of existence. The theoretical musings on mortality that once felt distant now permeate daily thoughts. This awareness does not always induce fear. Instead, it can awaken a sense of urgency. Each new day is perceived as a precious jewel, one that should not be squandered. Questions arise, if not now, when? What have I missed? What dreams have I shelved? What experiences do I wish to pursue while I still have the strength? As a result, many men begin to prioritize joy over obligations, freedom over compromises, and personal desires over societal expectations. Take Artem, 64, who spent his life as an accountant, devoted to his family while continually deferring his passions. Following his retirement, he confronted the reality of his past choices and resolved to seize the moment. He explored his long-neglected interests, embracing the very essence of life he had once put on hold for the sake of duty. What emerges from this profound reflection is a powerful testament to the human spirit, a recognition that there is beauty and fulfillment to be found in solitude, and that one's later years can be a time of rich personal exploration and growth. As they navigate this uncharted territory, men over 60 are discovering that there is a profound strength in choosing to be alone. It is not a statement of defeat, but rather an affirmation of self-discovery and authenticity. In embracing this journey of solitude, these men invite us to reconsider our perceptions of companionship, love, and joy in the later stages of life. So what lies ahead for them? Is it simply a new chapter of loneliness, or the beginning of an enriching adventure filled with self-acceptance, peace, and the pursuit of passions long forgotten? The answer may be more enlightening than we dare to believe. Have you ever wondered why some men choose solitude over companionship as they grow older? Is it fear of repeating past mistakes, or perhaps a quest for inner peace? What if the very act of embracing loneliness is a profound journey towards self-discovery and fulfillment? Let's dive into the complex world of men who are redefining their lives in their later years. Imagine a man holding a brush for the first time, letting his creativity flow onto the canvas. He discovers painting not just as a hobby, but as a medium to communicate with both the world and himself. Soon, he embarks on small journeys through his hometown, where he rekindles his zest for life, reminiscent of his youthful spirit. He reflects, "For the first time, I'm living for myself, and it's extraordinary." This revelation is not an isolated case. An increasing number of men are opting not to devote the remainder of their lives to new relationships that could bring stress, conflict, or new obligations. They are no longer willing to bend to someone else's rhythm, share their personal space, or justify their choices. Philosopher and psychotherapist Irvin D. Yalom asserted that the fear of death does not paralyze us. Instead, it can ignite a passion for living. He suggested that the awareness of life's impermanence stimulates a desire to experience the remainder of our days with as much depth and freedom as possible. Hence, many men select solitude not out of pain, but from a profound sense of understanding. It's finally time to be honest with themselves and seek enjoyment in their lives. In this choice, they may discover a mature joy that was long missing during years filled with responsibilities and self-denial. One compelling reason for this shift is the fear of repeating past mistakes. As men age, they accumulate not just wisdom, but also emotional scars. Divorce, infidelity, betrayal, and prolonged conflicts leave deep marks on their souls. Even when the wounds have healed, the memories of anguish and disappointment linger. A man who has endured such experiences begins to approach relationships with caution, seeing them as potential threats. He fears falling back into the trap of a toxic relationship where he must compromise, endure, or suppress his true self. Each new woman appears as a potential source of anxiety rather than inspiration. Instead of romance, he anticipates arguments, misunderstandings, control, and painful separations. Consider the story of Mikhail, a 69-year-old man. Following a challenging divorce that shattered him both emotionally and financially, he has resolved never to risk embarking on a new relationship. He has crafted a quiet, measured life where he feels safe and secure. "I no longer want to start over," he admits. "What I've built alone is too precious to me." This sentiment extends beyond mere physical comforts. It touches his inner state. Mikhail has found a balance he never knew before, one he is unwilling to jeopardize. Psychology refers to this as a protective reaction to trauma, where the individual instinctively seeks to avoid the pain of repeating past experiences. It's akin to the fear of getting burned again, even when the cup has cooled. Such caution doesn't necessarily mean that a man has become embittered or has lost his capacity to love. On the contrary, he may still be deeply sensitive and kind, but those feelings are now veiled beneath a layer of caution. He is not closed off, merely vigilant. Psychologists emphasize that trauma, particularly in later life, can alter one's attachment style. A person may become less trusting, more reserved, and less willing to take emotional risks. Although it might seem from the outside that he is merely avoiding intimacy, in fact, he is fiercely guarding the internal peace he has painstakingly cultivated. Sometimes, solitude is not a rejection of love, but a yearning for the tranquility of the soul that has once been shattered. The next reason lies in the growing distrust of contemporary women. As men age, they no longer view women through the enamored eyes of youthful love. Instead, they assume the role of observers who have journeyed through myriad trials. Skepticism arises not by chance. It is forged from personal disappointments, deception, betrayal, and instances where emotions were overshadowed by self-interest. A man who has been disillusioned once becomes cautious twice. He begins to notice nuances he previously overlooked: excessive interest in finances, insincere kindness, subtle manipulations. Over time, this translates into wariness toward many women, especially those who enter his life after he reaches 60. To him, authenticity becomes a rarity, while trust transforms into a gamble. Take Pavel, who is 63 years old. He recounts that several years ago, he met a woman who initially showered him with affection and care, only to later criticize him for even the slightest expenditures. She did not hide her expectation of financial support and labeled him as cold and stingy when he failed to be generous. This experience left him deeply disillusioned. I realized that genuine women are like rare books, he says. They must be sought out for a long time, and I lack the strength for that. Since then, Pavel has stopped pursuing relationships. He has turned his focus toward the friends, gardening, and reading. The consumer culture also plays a significant role. Society actively promotes external symbols of success, money, status, possessions. This shift dilutes traditional values such as loyalty, patience, and sincerity. Men feel that they are increasingly expected to offer not love but advantageous conditions. This perception leads them to withdraw because no one wants to be merely a wallet or a convenient resource within someone else's narrative. Psychologists note a rise in anxiety among men entering new relationships, particularly if they own property, savings, or enjoy a stable income. Distrust becomes a form of self-defense, albeit with a bitter undertone of loneliness. Deep down, a man may yearn for closeness, but the fear of being exploited often prevails. He chooses silence as it seems far more honest. Another reason many men embrace solitude is their desire to concentrate on spiritual growth. With age, they frequently begin to contemplate questions they had previously postponed. Time becomes ample, and the chaos of life fades away, allowing profound reflections on purpose, meaning, and the essence of existence to emerge. Everyday concerns that once seemed paramount lose their significance, giving way to an inner quest. A man yearns for solitude, not from resentment or fatigue, but because he recognizes that only in stillness can he truly hear himself. He seeks answers not through dialogue, but through introspection, literature, observing nature, prayer, or meditation. This journey is not an escape from life, rather it is a pursuit of its core. Oleg, who is 70 years old, has dedicated his retirement to studying spiritual literature, philosophy, and religion. He has taken up meditation, visits temples, and keeps diaries of his reflections. His days are now filled not with conversations, but with meaningful silence. I don't need many words, he says. I'm not seeking external love, but rather inner wholeness. He resides in a small house on the outskirts, surrounded by books, candles, and the timeless thoughts of wise figures. One of his favorite philosophers, Marcus Aurelius, the Roman Stoic emperor, once wrote, "Find peace within yourself, and then you can be at peace with the world around you." These words have become a guiding principle for Oleg. He has come to understand that true tranquility does not come from external sources, but rather from within. Philosophers and spiritual teachers throughout history have stated that maturity is the best time for personal growth. Even Leo Tolstoy, in the later years of his life, distanced himself from the hustle and sought truth in simplicity and spiritual cleansing. The spiritual path requires space, both physical and mental. Often, only solitude can grant a person that necessary room. A man in such a state does not renounce love. He simply seeks a deeper form of it, one that is in unity with the truth, nature, and the divine. A woman may be perceived not as a partner, but as a potential distraction from the main pursuit, the journey toward oneself. Social fatigue and a re-evaluation of priorities also shape this narrative. After decades spent in constant interaction with others, fulfilling external expectations, and adhering to societal roles, a man may experience profound exhaustion. This fatigue transcends mere physical tiredness. It embodies an internal emptiness stemming from endless discussions and obligations. The desire for tranquility grows stronger as he seeks an escape from the cacophony of social obligations that once defined his existence. In the quiet moments of reflection, a realization dawns. Perhaps it's time to prioritize oneself, to nurture the spirit, and to embark on a journey that leads to genuine fulfillment. In a world that often demands conformity, these men are courageously carving their own paths, driven by the awareness that life is fleeting and the search for peace within is a legacy worth pursuing. Have you ever felt like you're drowning in a sea of social expectations? Do you find yourself yearning for quiet moments amid the chaos of life? What if I told you that true happiness might lie in solitude rather than in the constant buzz of companionship? As we age, we often face a profound transformation in our understanding of relationships and what it means to be truly connected. Imagine a man named Andre, who at the age of 68 decides to turn his back on the relentless social calendar that once defined his life. After years of attending work meetings, family gatherings, and solving other people's problems, he reaches a pivotal moment of realization. The noise of busy company no longer holds charm for him. Discussions about the latest news seem trivial, and the need for external validation dissipates. Instead, Andre finds himself craving a different kind of existence, one marked by sincerity, tranquility, and simplicity. He sells his urban apartment and relocates to a serene village where his days are now filled with the calming presence of trees, the allure of books, and leisurely walks by the lake. I am not a hermit, he asserts. I am simply living the way I have always wanted to. In this newfound solitude, Andre experiences liberation. His phone rarely rings, and instead of feeling anxious about it, he revels in the peace it brings. Here, he has discovered a profound freedom that arises from the stepping away from the frenzy of daily life. Existential philosophers such as Jean-Paul Sartre and Viktor Frankl have long posited that it is only in moments of solitude that we can truly uncover our authentic desires, those that are not imposed by society, family, or careers. This reevaluation of priorities is a natural part of maturity. A man begins to discern where he has acted out of obligation and where he has followed the call of his heart. As he journeys deeper into this exploration, he finds himself increasingly detached from the roles he once played: husband, friend, colleague, conversationalist. More often than not, he seeks to simply be himself, shedding the masks and performances that once felt necessary. In these introspective moments, relationships may appear burdensome, draining the precious energy he reserves for self-reflection. This is not an act of bitterness towards others, but rather a profound yearning for tranquility. If this stillness gives birth to harmony within him, he is reluctant to disturb it, even for the sake of love. For as Frankl eloquently stated, meaning cannot be derived from external sources. It springs forth from personal silence. So, can a man truly find happiness in solitude? Indeed, solitude offers peace, freedom, and quiet, qualities that are often cherished more with the passing of years. However, an important question arises: can one genuinely be happy while remaining perpetually alone? Self-sufficiency is undoubtedly a powerful trait, a hallmark of maturity and inner resilience. Yet, humans are inherently social beings, creatures who thrive on emotional connections. Even the strongest and most assured man may occasionally crave the simple comfort of having someone by his side, someone who demands nothing but offers warmth and companionship. In this context, a woman is not merely a partner. She serves as a source of inspiration, tenderness, and soulful support. Her presence can transform a house into a home, an inviting sanctuary that beckons one to return. It is beside her that a man can embrace vulnerability without sacrificing his dignity. Alfred Adler asserted that an individual fully realizes their potential through interaction with others, through communication, care, and shared experiences. Without these connections, personal growth may stagnate. Renowned American psychologist John Gottman dedicated decades to studying marital relationships, and his findings illuminated a crucial truth. Emotional connections within a partnership are the key to longevity and psychological well-being. His research revealed that men in stable, affectionate relationships are less likely to suffer from depression, recover more quickly from illnesses, and feel more confident as they age. The support of a beloved woman not only alleviates stress, but also fortifies the immune system and may even contribute to a longer life. Emotional intimacy then becomes a powerful remedy, not just for the heart, but for the soul as well. While solitude can indeed provide many blessings, it can never replace the warmth of a comforting embrace during challenging times. At a certain juncture in life, every man confronts a significant and deeply personal choice: to remain alone with himself or to invite another person into his life. This choice should not be swayed by societal expectations, fears, or external pressures. Instead, it should emerge from within, sparked by an authentic inquiry into what one truly desires. Solitude can serve as a wellspring of strength, peace, and self-discovery. It can help forge an internal framework, allowing one to attain stillness and freedom. Yet it is crucial to remember that solitude is not an end in itself. It is merely one phase of a longer journey. After all, love and closeness are also forms of strength. They embody a delicate yet incredibly potent force, capable of healing, inspiring, and infusing new meaning into life, even in the later years. For women, the mature age does not signify an end. It can herald the start of a wondrous new chapter. This phase may unveil a different version of herself, not merely as a mother or someone's spouse, but as a self-sufficient, mature, and vibrant individual. She possesses the right to live for herself, to dream, to take risks, to inspire, and to be inspired. Being alone does not equate to feeling lonely when it is a conscious choice filled with intention and meaning. But if the heart still yearns to love, to trust, and to build connections, that desire is not a weakness. It is a testament to maturity and courage. As the insightful Esther Perel notes, maturity does not mean fading into the shadows. It offers an opportunity to shine anew. Likewise, Paulo Coelho reminds us that life always presents a chance for a fresh narrative. The key is to be ready to embark on that journey. If these reflections resonate with you, if you wish to delve deeper into the choices we make in life, the wisdom that comes with age, the freedom of the inner self, and the strength of human connections, consider subscribing to my channel, Listen My Advice. Here we explore topics that are seldom discussed openly while seeking answers to life's pivotal questions. If this subject has struck a chord with you, please leave a like. Your support helps us share such important discussions. And in the comments, share your thoughts on solitude after 60. What choices would you make or have already made. Your voice matters, for it is your insights that inspire us to continue creating deep and honest content. Thank you for your attention, my dear viewer. Please subscribe to my channel, leave a comment, like, and share this video with others. See you in the next video.